Hey guys, it's Real Low Bermuda bringing you another lawn care video. In today's video, we're going to talk about reel mowers and cutting height. We're going to talk about crabgrass control, and we're going to get out and enjoy the sunshine and enjoy the mow. We've had rain for the last almost solid week, so we got some sunshine today, so we're going to get out and enjoy the mow. Come along. Alright guys, the first thing we're going to look at today before I get out and mow the lawn is we're going to talk about cutting height, and kind of your maintaining your height of cut, and why I use a reel mower and why you might want to consider using a reel mower. We're going to start out right now. I haven't mowed in a few days. Usually I like to mow every other day, just to keep it nice and tight, but because of the weather, haven't been able to get out and mow in the last few days. And so we're going to take a look at what the current height of cut is, and then bring it down to 6/10 of an inch, which is deck height on my mower. So we're going to see actually what that translates to actually blade height, see how close it is to 6/10 of an inch. So let's start there. Alright, so if we take a look right now, we are close to an inch in most places. Alright, the other thing I wanted to talk about is crabgrass control. I want to show you, I've been using Quinclorac over the past 3 weeks, and kind of want to give you an update on the progress of that. Crabgrass to me is one of the most difficult weeds to control. It's the most aggressive, it spreads really quick, and it just doesn't respond to most chemicals. And so luckily I only have 2 patches. I have one little small patch in my backyard, one little small patch in my front yard that's actually kind of creeped over from my neighbor's lawn, and so we're trying to knock that out. But basically what I use, and I've talked about this in other videos, is Quinclorac. And Quinclorac to me is about the best thing on the market currently that you can use. And I buy mine from domyown.com. It's a website where you can buy all sorts of herbicides and pesticides. And then I also use a surfactant, and the surfactant just basically helps the herbicide stick to the blade longer, and it helps absorb it. And so without the surfactant, the chemical could actually just run off the grass blade and doesn't get absorbed into the plant. So, but let's take a look at the progress over the last 3 weeks and see if anything has been accomplished. This guy is trying to fight the coronavirus. Looks pretty troubled, doesn't he? Alright, so this is a little section. This is also the side of my house that doesn't hardly get any sun, and so the grass has not really responded real well yet here, but you can kind of see the area that I'm fighting, the crabgrass. Get up here close, and we have almost completely knocked it out. The bad thing is it also took out some of my Bermuda, I think mainly because my Bermuda was still in dormancy, or just barely coming out of dormancy, and so it stressed it some. but I didn't want to give that crabgrass too much time to take hold, so I went ahead and used it now. But basically, and I'll show you a before and after picture here in a minute, but you can kind of see what crabgrass does. It just trails and trails and trails, and it'll take over your whole yard. So you want to really get a handle on it. And if you try to pick it, which I'm a big believer in just kind of pulling weeds when I see them, but if you try to pick crabgrass, it just doesn't, like, it's just hard to pick because everything is attached and it just runs and runs and runs and runs forever. So there's really no way, like most weeds, you see my dog left us a little video present there. Most weeds you can easily pick, in my opinion. I don't really have too many, thank goodness, to demonstrate. But I'm a big believer, if you see a little weed, just go ahead and pluck it. But crabgrass is not so lucky. So we're gonna go around the front, take a look at one other area of crabgrass that I have, and kind of show you the before and after pictures there. Oh look, there's a lone weed. There's a little sucker right there. You're not gonna live. When you're picking a weed, always get the base, reach down, get all the way to the base so you can try to get that root. Looky there. Another one bites the dust. All right, this is the second spot that I have been fighting crabgrass. Luckily, it's only my one of two spots in my whole yard that I'm dealing with this problem. But you can kind of see it's really browning up. That Quinclorac has done its job. Now, we did have, like I said, a week of rain. I don't think that really helped anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably retreat. But you can see that if I were to have put this on the whole yard, now granted I did mix this with some other weed killers, some 2,4-D, but I don't know, I'm not really sure which one caused the Bermuda grass to brown up like it did. But this is all Bermuda here, and then you can see this is your crabgrass. So there's still some green in there for sure, and then you can see kind of where it generated from over here in my neighbor's yard. And so luckily I don't think he has a whole lot of it either, but ultimately it's dying out, but it's still fighting for life, and so I'm gonna have to respray. And that's the thing with weeds, is there's very seldom a way that you can just go out there in your lawn and hit it one time and be done with it, right? You got to be out in your lawn frequently. You got to be inspecting things, kind of understanding what's going on in your lawn. And when you see that something is not working or it needs a little bit more help, you got to retreat it, right? And so that's just the thing, is get out in your lawn often, and you'll be able to start to see some trends and tendencies, and then you'll be able to kind of start to experiment with what works and what doesn't work with those. All right, so before we start to mow, I want to talk a little bit about the mower that I use and why I use this particular mower. And so I use the John Deere 220C Greens mower, and you can see it's a reel mower, meaning instead of a rotary blade, it's got a reel with 11 blades. And what happens is these blades make contact with a bed knife under there and works as scissors. So every single time one of those 11 blades turns, it clips the grass instead of cutting it or whacking it like a regular mower does. Anytime you use a rotary blade, that blade is spinning, right? It's spinning like this, and it's ultimately just whacking the grass. And you get that blade sharp enough and it can cut really clean. It's not that you can't get a good clean cut. However, it's just not super efficient, right? And so a reel mower, and if you notice what's used on golf courses, baseball fields, any type of professional turf, they're not using rotary mowers. They're using reel mowers, and there's a reason, because you get the best cut possible, and it's just the most efficient, clean cut. Now, this is a $6,000 unit, right? And I definitely can't afford a $6,000 mower. So what I did is I went on Craigslist and searched for months and months on real mowers, and there's a bunch out there, right? You can get a bunch of stuff for like $250, really old. You don't really know how much life is left in them, how much they were cared for. But I came across this John Deere, and this is a greens mower, which means it's designed for a golf course green, right? A putting green. That's what it's designed for. And so it's not really designed for residential use. But I got this $6,000 unit for 750 bucks. And so it was a deal I just couldn't pass up. And I've gotten really efficient with it now. I've learned how to use it, and it cuts just amazing. And so you maintain one of these things and you'll be able to use it for years and years to come. And it's already, I don't know how many years old. It's probably close to 10 years old already. And you can see that it's in really great shape. And I keep the blades extra sharp. You can see those blades. the cut now. Just over 1/2 inch, I'd say right at 6/10 of an inch. So our deck height, ooh, I'm sweating already. Our bench height set right at exactly 6/10 of an inch, and you figure your actual height of cut varies a little bit depending on how even your yard is, and you know, low spots, high spots, things like that. But overall pretty dang close. And you can see the yard is far from completely greened up, but it's coming along nicely. All right, we look at our height. All right guys, a little more on the reel mower. So as I mentioned, you know, mine is a $6,000 unit. By no means is that necessary and or even remotely needed for a residential lawn. And in fact, when I first transitioned to my first reel mower, I was using a manual push mower made by Fiskars, and it's about a $250 unit, and it's actually in my intro. You probably saw that on my intro video. But I used that for a whole year and it worked great. Finally upgraded to a motor push unit, and eventually I'm going to upgrade to a battery operated reel mower. I just can't afford one yet. But anyway, anything out there, whether it's a $250 used unit, you know, that you find on Craigslist, but as I mentioned before, the benefits to me just are the clean cut that you get from a reel mower. It never rips the grass, never damages the grass. It's always a nice, clean clip, just like you get your hair cut from a barber with a nice pair of scissors. You wouldn't get your hair cut with a machete, right? You wouldn't have somebody chop and whack your hair with a big swinging blade. I use nice sharp scissors, and that's why I use a reel mower. And I think it really changes the whole lawn, the health of the lawn, and the thickness of the lawn. And the final reason why I use the reel mower is just because I can get down below an inch and cut super clean. You know, with a rotary mower, typically you're only going to get down to about an inch, and even then you're going to, when a wheel hits a low spot, you're going to dip down in there and leave a scalp mark. And with a reel mower, especially if you have a roller on the front like mine, you don't have to have an even lawn or a completely level lawn to get down that low, because that roller balances out the whole reel. And so if you hit a low spot, you have the whole reel that shifts, and so it doesn't dip down in there. And so my lawn is by no means level, and I hope to get it a little bit more level each year. And that's also something that a heavy reel mower does as well. It acts like a roller, that it kind of flattens out the lawn each time you use it. So lots of benefits for a reel mower. And if you have questions about different brands, or if you're thinking about getting into the market for a reel mower, leave some comments below. I'd be glad to kind of share my knowledge with you on those. And as always, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and turn your notifications on, so that way you're notified all spring and all summer long as I add videos, and hopefully give you some information that you can use to make your lawn beautiful, green and lush, that you and your whole family can enjoy during this crazy time where we're all stuck at home. And now's the perfect time to get out there in that lawn and get to work, so you can enjoy it for many months and years to come. Real Low Bermuda signing out.